So thank you guys again for coming. I'm Tony Burnett. I own Bike Racks Apparel, and today we're going to talk about branding and how that pertains to apparel and merchandise. So branding, what does that exactly mean? Branding is the image a customer has of your business. It is much more than just your logo. It's how you are connected to your customer. It's the culture of your business and how a customer perceives that. Branding is important because in today's competitive world, you have to stand out, you have to be involved, and you have to be connected. We live in a society that has the attention span that's the length of a phone screen. Scrolling, scrolling. Oh, that's cool. Scrolling. You get the idea. And imagery is where that starts. Your logo is the foundation. And the psychology of logo design is not as complex as you would think. KISS is the acronym that I like to use a lot. Keep it simple. Your logo is not the place to be clever or for puns. You want your logo to be memorable and recognizable at a glance. I am going to be using my cheat sheet for this because I have quite a bit to go over and it's pretty in-depth. So I'm also watching the screen and seeing your comments. So if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot them out. I'll try and address them as we go, but we'll keep going. So you want your logo to be applicable in several ways and in a uniform fashion, from signage to website to apparel to your letterhead to swag. You want that done in a uniform fashion. That helps create brand recognition. Think about large companies, large corporations, bike industry or otherwise. How many of them have a logo that's more than one or two colors? They keep it simple. They keep it recognizable. It's the secondary and the supporting designs is where you can get crazy and have fun with those ideas. Having your core logo is where people come to know you, but the supporting designs is where you can branch out and keep things fresh and keep things fun. A professional design firm is imperative when it comes to putting this kind of stuff together. They're going to be able to create a standing logo for you, accented by supporting designs and other logos, as well as color schemes that accent each other and kind of just create a whole complete look. Your cousin's niece who's in college for graphic design might be a cheap way to get some logo work done or some design work done. But the difference is massive when it comes to working with a professional firm or working with professional design people. It's just going to be a more polished look. Yes, the costs are going to be higher, but there's an immense value to a properly designed and thought out logo set. If you stand behind the value of your business, then don't be afraid to invest in imagery. Apparel and merchandise is some of the most cost-effective ways to market your brand. You can pay for digital advertising, you can pay for print advertising, but a single piece of branded apparel is going to generate an extremely high ratio of impressions to dollars spent, as long as you're going about it the right way. If you try to do this the cheapest way possible, your customers are going to see right through it. If you're trying to put your logo or your design on a cheap shirt, they're not going to sell. And if they do sell, they're not going to wear them. You're kind of wasting your money. And I'm not talking about a huge price difference between high quality and low quality. Especially, let's go back. Let's keep using shirts as an example. And you're talking about $1 to a $3 difference between a shirt that someone's going to throw in the bottom of their drawer and only pull it out when they're doing yard work, versus a shirt that they're going to wear all the time to every event they go to because it's their favorite shirt. They're going to wear it out. They're going to come back buy another. Even if it's free handout stuff, I get that question a lot. It's donation stuff or it's free handout stuff. We're trying to be budget friendly, which is understandable, but you're going to get more for your marketing dollar if you just put it on something a little bit nicer. People are going to wear it. People are going to appreciate it. Generally speaking, people that are coming into bike shops are looking for a higher quality. People that don't care about quality buy bikes from Walmart. But think about that when you're exploring options for custom apparel and merchandise. The amount of products out there that you can customize is just limitless. The staples that most shops use, most of my customers use is, t-shirts, hats, chop jerseys. Water bottles are a big one. It's not something that I do, but almost every bike shop has water bottles. But there's so much more that you can do. Cups, koozies, caps, buffs, bandanas, stickers, anything and everything you can get your logo on. It's going to have value. It's going to have added value. It's going to have marketing value. Think about when you go to CABDA or any other big event, how much stuff you pick up along the way, all the swag handouts, things like that. You don't have to be a big business to do that stuff. Not saying you need to go and find as much stuff as possible to put your logo on. You want to use common sense. You know your customer base. If you're primarily a mountain bike shop, you're not going to invest in road jerseys. The one thing I like to say is this: branded apparel, it's an investment and a revenue stream. What other form of advertisement does your customer pay you for? I'm not saying you're going to get rich off of selling apparel. You're in the business of selling bikes, fixing bikes. Apparel and merch are not going to be a top contender on your profit and loss statement, but they have potential as long as you're going about it the right way. With proper branding and really well done designs, you can sell a lot of stuff, but you have to market it right. Social media is a super strong tool. You can use it when used consistently and correctly. You can build excitement around those products and move that stuff, just the way you would want to build excitement around your bike brands that you carry, or the new line for this year. Margin wars is what I like to say. Stock apparel versus branded apparel. A lot of my shops are going away from carrying any stock apparel. Stock apparel meaning big brand clothing brands that usually have a spring and summer or fall line. They have their spring colors, things like that. Or you carry your size runs of black bike shorts, because those are the staples that you always end up selling. And typically that kind of stuff, you're looking at a 45 to 55 point margin, which is as it should be. But the online competition for those products is monumental. You end up sitting on a lot of that stuff, and you have to clearance it out to get rid of it, thus lowering your margin. Or you end up giving it away, putting it in the donation pile for the local bike race that's looking for prize packages for their top 3 prizes or top 3 places. First question, Amy. We are offering masks with logos. I have a couple resources. I haven't been doing a ton of them because there's a lot of options out there, and a lot of them are not very good quality. And a lot of what you'll be hearing me talk about is I don't like working with cheap stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. Back to the stock apparel versus branded apparel. You can, so what I was saying is that stock apparel you end up sitting on, you end up giving it away, you're losing out entirely of that margin. You paid for that product, you're giving it away, it's got somebody else's logo on it, has no value to you. Your margin might not be as high on branded apparel, depending on quantities that you're ordering, but it has the added marketing value, even if you're giving it away. Anything that has your logo on it is going to carry that value forward. Anything going out your door with your logo on it is going to have added value, carried value. And the next part, I think, is one of the most important parts of this whole conversation is backing up your branding. And that's really, it's just customer service. Any retail business should focus strongly on customer service. You want to build loyal customers. That should be the focus of any retail business. Because the loyal customer is going to buy that shirt. He's going to wear that shirt. He's your most, or she, sorry, is going to be your most valued marketing asset. First, they paid you for that shirt, and then they're going to wear it until it falls apart. As long as it's a nice quality shirt and they want to wear it all the time. The amount of marketing impressions that you get from one individual, a single loyal customer, and the amount of impressions that get put out to the general public is immeasurable. You know, most of those, especially your most loyal customers, they're gonna have a hat, they're gonna have the jersey, they're gonna have a couple shirts, they're gonna wear your brand. They want to rep you because they're a fan of your business and they want to support you. Not just buying that shirt, but then wearing the crap out of it, wearing your brand. And that's just one person. Think about 30 loyal customers or 100 loyal customers. The spread just keeps getting wider and wider. But again, always goes back to the conversation. Don't, you know, as long as you're putting it on quality products that people are excited about wearing or using, then the value is going to stay there. It's going to go. If you're using cheap products, your value is that sale at the counter, and then it ends there. You made your money off that shirt, but there's no more value because it's just not going to get worn, relatively speaking. On to the next topic. Wear your own brand. I've been into a lot of shops where I see 4 or 5 people working, and there might be 1 or 2 that are wearing something that has the logo or the branding on it. I'm not saying you need to be completely uniformed out and everybody looking exactly the same, but you should. Everybody that works for you should have enough clothing or anything with branded apparel to be able to wear something every day, whether it's a hat or a shirt or the mechanic's apron or mechanic's shirt, flannels, jackets, whatever. You want that any customer walking in the door to see that branding. It continues to solidify that brand recognition. It drives it home. You can also customize the stock apparel. Now, I had a customer, here's an example. I had a customer that got a sweet deal on some really high-end zip-up hoodies from a big clothing company, a bike accessory and clothing company. And he got 50 of them. Got a sweet deal on. Brought them to me. I embroidered his logo on them. He made sure every one of his staff had one, and then he put them on the shelf and sold them out. Would he have sold as many without his logo on it? Probably not. Would he have sold some? Yeah, it was a nice product. He would have sold some. But even those few that he would sell without the cost of his logo on it, there's no added value. The sale is done at the door, and there's nothing else. So for me, you know, it's my job to create branded products and for your businesses, for your events, for your organizations. But I put a lot of energy into branding my own my business, and how I go about that is it's kind of a win-win for me because it's not only just branding, but it's also showcasing what I do and what I offer. So, you know, I give out tons of koozies. I give out tons of shirts. If you've been to the other, you know, CABDA shows live, you know how many shirts that go out my booth. I print them live right there. Every time everybody's like, well, how much? It's like, no, it's free. It's here. It's a giveaway. Here's what I do. This is what I do, but it's also branding. And I get a lot of people that come back the next year wearing that shirt. Like they chase me down. Hey, look, I'm wearing your shirt. Hey, I need another one. Or hey, I've worn this one out. You know, the koozies, you see those out and about all over the place. I hand out a lot of stuff. It helps with brand recognition. It helps with people remembering who I am, what I do, and to me that's very important. It's part of how I operate my business. You might not be able to create a bike brand, but you can add branding, you know, with the frame sticker that everybody puts on their frames going out the door. If you don't do that, that's silly. A bike bottle going in the cage before on a new sale. Custom stem caps is a cool idea I've seen some shops do. Any idea that you can add branding to anything that's going out the door is going to have value. You know, have brainstorm sessions. Get your whole team involved. Try to get as many ideas as possible, and then, you know, sort through all those ideas and figure out which ones make the most sense. So Marshall's question about employees wearing different manufacturing logos. Yes, that's perfectly fine. You know, you're going to get your Shimano shirts, your SRAM shirts, your bike brand shirts. That's fine. But at least if I think it makes sense for them to also be wearing something of your own brand. It doesn't have to be head to toe brand, your brand, but something. Whether, like I said, it's an apron for a mechanic, or you know, that's wearing a Kona shirt underneath of that. You know, kind of think outside the box in that regard. Just as long as they have something, whether it's a pin. You know, I wear an apron when I'm doing printing, and I have a Bike Rags pin on it. I'm never not wearing something that has my logo on it, and I try to not make it too in your face or too bold, and you know, I try to create products that have, you know, an aesthetic to them outside of the logo. You know, like the shirt I'm wearing right now. The logo, I show the color. I always try to do matching colors with the garment to create subtlety, but it's there and it's recognizable. All right. So on to the next topic is another big one to me for branding and creating brand awareness is community. Being involved in your cycling community is big and massive for your branding. Being a voice in the local advocacy communication, conversations, helping make your community a safer place to ride bicycles is only going to benefit your business. You can organize shop rides, group rides, and how to elevate that experience is do a raffle. So you've got a weekly Wednesday night bike ride, group ride, just recreational, it's fun. But every week, give away a shirt, give away a hat. You know, if you got 30, 40 people that show up every week, or even less, doesn't matter. Create a raffle, create something that's memorable for them. People love free stuff, especially if it's nice stuff. And if it's nice stuff, they're gonna wear it. Even though you're giving it away, you're still creating value. Start a shop-sponsored race team. I have a Bike Rags race team. We're not competitive. We're not overly serious. We're a bunch of guys that like to hang out and ride bikes and go to race events. But they're all decked out. They're all wearing Bike Rag stuff. It's all part of brand recognition. It's all part of branding. It's all part of growing the knowledge of my business. Sponsoring local events, being involved in your local events, races or otherwise, and more than just giving money to be on a banner or be included in the 20 logos that go on the back of the event shirt. Be there, be on hand. Make your presence known. Give out swag, give out stuff. It's all part of branding. Question. Oh, thank you, Drake. Question from Marshall. Can you send me stuff? Yes. Like I was talking about, I have a customer that he was able to acquire a nice quantity of those zip hoodies and send me to brand them. Yes, I do that. My disclaimer is always new, never worn. I don't want you to take half the stuff out of your closet and send it to me to put your logo on it. Doesn't work that way. Got to be new, never worn. Back to the community though. Being involved in the event is massive. It helps you stand out. It helps your customer realize that you care more about them and being part of the community other than just taking their money over the counter. A good example I like to use is another bike shop customer of mine sponsors a lot of mountain bike races, and they do the slap koozie. He gives away slap koozies to all the participants, and he creates a new design for each event that he sponsors. And every year that they do the event, creates a new design. He incorporates his logos and his branding into those new designs for that event. And in turn, it creates energy and it creates anticipation and it creates awareness for him, because then people start to, like, they know that that's coming. They're looking for that new design and they're excited to see what comes about it. And that's something that's really gone over really well for him. He's built a lot of awareness for his his business and his branding by doing that. Yeah, and he pays for that new design every time. But and there's costs involved with that. But that's marketing cost. It's part of cost of doing business. So, kind of in conclusion, how much time is it? 20 minutes already. So wrapping up, really, I just want to really drive home the importance of branding and having that part of your overall business plan. You have a marketing plan, and what involves your marketing plan should be largely branding and how you go about that. When done properly, it's a very involved process. You need to be dedicated to it. From working with a designer to create an eye-catching design, to figuring out what products to put this stuff on, to how to market those products with social media or events. If you're going to dive in, you have to be consistent. Creating brand recognition takes time and consistency. It's something that just doesn't happen overnight. You have to stick with it. And that's really all I've got. I'm sure I probably have a lot of questions coming from some of this stuff. So we've got 10 minutes. Jump in. Shoot me your messages. What are you thinking? We could do a tour of the shop to end the video. We got 7 minutes. So this is the back. There's my desk, my office space. I've created my nice little display area there. That's where the patch hats get done. We do a ton of patch hats. Here's all my screen printing inks and supplies. Yeah, there's TV. Watch TV occasionally while I'm working. Mostly YouTube videos. Into here, there's the press and the dryer. Oh, and there's Zeus. If you've been to CABDA, you know Zeus. He's my staple. Marshall, I carry or have access to just about any brand that you could possibly imagine for t-shirts. I have 4 different distributors. The options are quite limitless. That computer right there is my shipping station. That is the manual press, which doesn't get used a whole lot anymore. That's why it's kind of tucked into the corner. So you can see I don't have a very large space, but I make it work. There's some orders over there in the corner that are getting ready to be printed. And then the front space is the showroom, which is mostly in the back right now because of the setup. I have a sample rack behind me, some artwork on the wall. Typically right here is the table with all of the stuff, and the mannequins are usually in that corner. So that's the shop space. Oh yeah, it's super winter outside, if you can see. If you're not in the Midwest. Joshua's question about how often a shop should come out with new products or designs. That's a good question. I'd say at least every spring. It doesn't always have to be a new design, but you could pick a different color for sure. You can do a different color on the design. You can, yeah, I mean, it's kind of relative to how your business flows. If you get real hot and heavy in the springtime, so here in the Midwest, it's cold all winter long. As soon as people start getting on bikes, as soon as it thaws out and starts warming up, bike shops get super busy. So when they start seeing a lot of traffic, that's, when you see the most traffic throughout the year is when you want to have fresh products. When you have people in there, that's when you want to have stuff for them to look at. And Nicole's question, yeah, I can do safety vests. I have a lot of options for that kind of stuff too. As far as branded apparel goes, there's really not anything that I don't have access to. Any print shop that's been around for a while, has distributors for all kinds of blank apparel. Anything you can think of, really. Yes, TJ, it is cold outside. How's Arizona? Sure. You go ride your bike. It is -4 degrees today, I'm pretty sure. And this shop, as much as I love it, being an old service station, has absolutely no insulation. Anthony, yeah, any kind of hat you can think of. We do a lot of, so traditionally or primarily we do mostly 6-panel trucker hats, but I do a lot of dad hats. I do a lot of 5-panel taller hats. We can do New Era. I can do Richardson 112 is probably our most popular because they have the most color options, but the inventory has been real terrible this year. The Yupung brand is another hat that I really like using a lot of. What else do we have? Yeah, Kim, giving away stuff with a bike purchase. I think it makes perfect sense. Yeah, 78, TJ. That sounds nice. I'll see you next week. We also, yeah, I do stickers and decals as well. Yes, Tony, I do have gel in my hair. I put gel in my hair maybe 3 times a year. CABDA is one of those times. Only one day, though. 2 minutes left. Shelly, thank you. I look forward to hearing from you. And just a kind of final statement is that there's a lot of places that do a lot of what I do. I cater specifically to the bike industry. That's my niche market, and I kind of hold myself to that, partially just because it's what I'm passionate about. I'm a bike person. I like working with bike people, and that's a big reason, why my business is called what it is. Why I market to that industry. But everybody's going to have their local print shop. And what I try to tell people what the difference is, I am tied to the industry. I have a better feel on what everybody else is doing, what's trending and things like that. Yes, I can ship to Canada, but I also have a network of other print shops in Canada and probably could help you out in that regard and save you on shipping. Yeah, like Anthony's saying, he's a BMX shop, so he does really well with beanies, windbreakers, and hoodies, the casual stuff for sure. Tim, sure, certainly. I'll reach out for sure. All right, well, that's it, everybody. Thank you very much. Head to my booth. You can message me on there. We can get a chat going over there. I might jump in a lounge here and see what else is going on. Last question, Laura. Yes, I can do a sublimation tech tee. Yes, I can. So we do full cycling apparel, a full line of cycling apparel as well. It's not just screen printing. It's not just embroidery. Literally, whatever you can imagine, I have a resource for it. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the day.